Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about something we get calls and questions quite frequently. Why my or my relative's visitor visa to the US was denied, and what to do next. I'm Raluca. I provide immigration services for clients around the world, as well as estate planning and family law services for Georgia residents at my office in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Nina Clear, my marketing and office manager, is here with me. We really appreciate all your likes, shares, comments, as they help others to see our videos.
And we want to be clear with everyone that we are only talking today about non-immigrant visitor visas that are usually called a B1 or a B2, because there's lots of other visas. We're not talking about those.
Yes, that's right. Also, a reminder, we only give broad information in all our videos. So it is really important for you to consult with an attorney when you have questions on your individual circumstances that may impact the outcome of your case.
Now, can you tell us, are B1 and B2 the same thing, a visitor visa? Because I know people always say them, B1, B2, like that.
Well, yes and no. A B1 visa is for business purposes, and B2 visa is for tourism. What we need people to understand about visitor visas is that immigration law requires consular officers to look at every visa applicant as an intending immigrant until the applicant proves otherwise.
What does that mean?
That means that the burden of proving that you are not intending to immigrate but only visiting is on you.
So it's kind of like with the marriage green card, right? Where they have to say it's not a bona fide marriage?
Yes, they start from the presumption that it's not a bona fide marriage.
And
so now it's on you to prove.
Okay, so here the presumption is you want to become a U.S. citizen.
It's the opposite of the presumption of innocence.
Right. If you're not guilty. A citizen, too bad. You're already...
Yes, you're guilty until you prove it.
Okay. And would that be one reason that people are denied? They didn't do enough to prove that they only intended to visit.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on, but I wanted to get more clarity on what a B1 lets you do. So can you work here if you have a B1?
Well, sort of, but it's not really work. So you must have a business purpose to be in the U.S. These includes things like consult with business associates, attend a scientific, educational, professional, or business convention or conference, settle an estate, negotiate a contract. But that doesn't mean you can earn money here in the U.S.
And what do you mean by that?
The U.S. government is very strict about this. They don't want people earning money in the U.S. because they see that as indicating that you are intending to stay.
Okay. So can we start at the beginning of the application process for people?
Yes. So people will fill out a visa application first step.
Okay. And like with that, if you can explain a little what they'll do to obtain that visitor visa.
Sure. The application can be filled out online, and then the interview will take place at the consulate or embassy in their country.
And as I understand it, when they apply, there's 4 things that they have to prove when they apply for a visa. Can you run through those?
Absolutely. Remember, the most important thing is that all immigration officials are required to work under the premise that you are intending to live in the U.S. permanently. So you must prove that you're not. The 4 things are, first one, that your purpose is to be in the U.S. temporarily for business or pleasure. The second one is that you plan to stay for a limited time.
So wait a minute, because that sounds like the same thing. My purpose is to be here temporarily, and I only plan plan to stay for a limited time.
True, but they see it as two different things, and so anything you submit must answer those two concerns.
Okay, and what is the third thing?
The third one is that you have to have enough money to cover any expenses for your travel.
And how do you prove that?
You may have to show that you have enough money in your bank account. They are concerned that you do not only have to have enough money to pay for your trip, but you also have enough money when you go back, and also that when you are here in the US, you can cover all your expenses so you won't become a public charge, meaning needing the US government to pay for you to leave.
Okay, and what is the fourth thing?
That the fourth one is that you have binding ties outside the U.S. that ensure that you will leave the U.S. when you visit, after your visit is finished.
Okay, and what are binding ties?
A spouse, children, grandchildren, a home, a job, things like that.
If you are denied, can you apply again?
You can, but you must have new evidence to overcome the reasons they refused you.
And how do you know why they refused?
Well, they usually give you or send you a letter, and it would tell you in the letter why.
Can you give some examples that you have seen why people have been denied?
Sure. The most common in the letter is going to say that you were denied because you could not prove that you intend just to visit. Some things I have seen is if you don't have a job or a home in your name in your home country, nothing that they would consider ties to that place that you will return, then that's a reason to deny you. Or if you had family members who came over in US on a visitor visa and overstayed, that is also a reason to deny your application.
So they're gonna look at not only you, but all your family.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there a fee?
There is a non-refundable application fee of $160. That is what it is today on March 21st, 2019. And you may also have a visa issuance fee.
And how much is the visa issuance fee?
That really depends on your local consulate requirements.
Okay. And then you kind of mentioned this. We went through the four things, and then you said they're going to have an interview. How important is the interview?
The interview is very important since consulate officials are busy. They may only have a short interview, but each question is important and must be answered completely.
Can you have an attorney attend the interview with you?
No, you cannot. But I or another attorney can prepare people for the interview prior to attending it.
And anything else that might happen before you are approved?
Depending on your location, they may have other requirements. It's really important to find out what your local consulate or embassy requires and follow that to a T. You can find out all that information on their website.
If you go to the Department of State website and you put in the city you're in, it will tell you where that building is, and it will tell you what they require for their application. So there's just too many for us to list them all.
Exactly.
Do people usually hire an attorney for a visa application?
They can. I have been hired before to do them, particularly if someone has been denied. If they want to apply again, an attorney can ensure that they submit enough evidence.
Enough evidence for an approval.
For
hopefully.
an approval,
okay.
Yes, hopefully, yes.
And so you can't, but it's my understanding if you're denied, you cannot appeal the denial.
No. If eligible, you would just reapply.
Okay. And so say you are approved, how long can you stay in the U.S.?
Well, that depends. The visa is good for a certain period of time. Usually they issue a visitor visa for 5 to 10 years most often. But the customs agent can put on your I-94 whatever length of time they want. So you must leave when your I-94 is dated, that you must leave, not the visa.
And can you get an extension to that I-94 date?
Yes, you can, but you are required to apply for an extension 45 days before it expires. So it really depends on your individual circumstances.
Okay, and once the visa expires, so that's the 5 to 10 year one, not the I-94 dates, because they're different.
Yes.
Is there a specific time period that you have to wait before you apply again for another visitor visa?
No, it's not, but keep in mind that the consulate staff will always review your prior visas and stay lengths, and that may impact approval or denial.
And why or how could they impact it?
Well, with the visitor visa, they really want someone to be a visitor. So if they think you are in the US too long, they may think you are working there or intend to stay and not return to your own country.
So if someone is here in the US and then goes home and comes right back, that might cause them to be denied?
Well, if you look at what they're supposed to prove, that they don't intend to stay here because of the ties in their country, but their stay is quite long, then the consulate may think their ties aren't strong enough. Plus the officer at the CBP officer, they look and they actually have the power to cancel your visa if they think that you abuse your visa.
And we've had calls where
visa.
People
Yes.
have had it canceled. They've flown in, they've had it canceled, and they're like, help me.
Yes.
And honestly, there's not an attorney.
There is nothing you can do while they are here in the airport and their visa is denied. You can help them when they go back and they try to reapply for it.
Okay.
So thanks for watching today. We really appreciate you and all your likes, shares, and comments. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, as we're always here to help you. See you tomorrow.